Welcome back, everyone. This is the Lil Weedy Bros. Oh, I didn't. Oh, no, we didn't. So, we got a special guest today. This
What's up,
is
y'all?
my bro, aka my bro, my little bro,
I'm
Cooper.
Cooper.
What's going on? He actually graduated last year, so he knows about schools and the
I do.
fundings and the problems with schools across the globe. So,
Sure,
the
yeah.
topic of today's video is school funding. And
hmm
what's the issue, like what's
hmm
wrong and how do our governments go into play? For example, we have the local, the state, and the federal governments, and how do they all play a part into the funding of the school? What do you think?
I think school funding in the U.S. is often inefficient and inequitable, primarily due to the reliance on local. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. All right. School funding in the U.S. is often insufficient and inequitable, primarily due to reliance on local property taxes, which leads to disparities between wealthy and low-income districts. These disparities result in significantly different spending per student and affect high need groups like students from low income families or students with disabilities.
Okay, and that's a good way to see. I understand that. For example, like local governments, they help build the schools, the colleges, places that need schools, and because everyone needs education in life. That's something. They
Mm-hmm.
help build the curriculum, and they set the parameters in the school. So, what's good, what's bad.
Yeah,
They hire the teachers, and gotta make sure you have a functioning school to have a school. You know what I'm saying? That make
absolutely.
exactly what it is. And but then it gets kind of tricky because you would think the local government like helps financial aid like with students and stuff because it's
Yeah,
local, but
yeah.
you're wrong actually. That's what the
Mm.
state government does. The state government,
Mm.
they provide the
That
financial
beta.
aid, and they watch over the curriculum and the school standards that the local government puts into play, because the
Okay.
state is more of the board of education and everything, so they have the more of the power that goes on in what the schools teach. Actually, one good example, one good example. So over here in California, we have this new rule where we're not allowed to have phones during school hours unless it's
Mm.
brunch or lunch. Other than that, you can't listen to music. You get yelled at if
Yeah.
you have them. They get to take them away, and you gotta have the teacher. I mean, you gotta have a parent come over and pick up your phone, no matter what age you're at.
It's kind of weird, but okay.
Yeah, and the person who did that was our governor, Gavin Newsom. He signed the Free Phone School Act into law last year. So we are now not allowed to have school phones during school hours in classes, or else we
Mm.
gotta put them up in a phone pocket. But
Dang.
yeah. Did
Yeah,
you ever have
last
that at your school?
so last year in Georgia, they did stop doing that. Last year in Georgia, they did get a little bit more strict about phones, but we didn't
Mm,
really have to put them up in little pockets or anything. But you could get written up if a principal or like stuff someone caught you on your phone, you know, um, while in class. So the teachers were more strict about it. But other than that, we didn't have to like always not have our phones because we needed our phones for like Canvas or why are you looking at me like that? Um, you know, other school needs. So I didn't really have that. No.
okay. And lastly, we got the main issue, the federal government. You would
Mm,
think since it's federal, they got all the money. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely. But
They don't. They
mm,
only give. Can you believe this? This is a little bit older, but according to usafacts.org, from 2021 to 2022, which is, a few years, 3 years back. So the federal government only gave 13.9% of public schools was their funding. Federal
mm,
funds was only 13.9%, which means the rest was all local and state governments funding the schools to be open,
mm,
which is one of the main purpose the federal government's supposed to do. The federal government's supposed to help schools that don't have the best financial circumstances. A lot of kids don't have the best advantages, they're pretty disadvantaged families,
Yeah.
disadvantaged areas,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what the federal government's supposed to help out.
Block.
But suppose I don't think they have schools over there, but
I think
um,
they actually do have one. I
for
think JoJo went
example,
there.
oh yeah, my cousin does run it. But one thing I will say that the federal government, I believe it was, don't take my word on this, but remember back in COVID, we had free lunch
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I believe that was the federal government. Because during, yeah, actually right here, during COVID-19, 2020 to 2022, many K through 12 schools were giving out free school meals thanks to the federal government. They
Okay.
created the National School Lunch Program, NSLP. So yeah,
Okay.
it was pretty good, but the
Well,
federal government just it needs to up its game. Compared to the rest, they're at the lowest. They're at the bottom of the food chain. They're sweet as
but
cotton
there's not
candy.
much you can do about that. Like sweet as Christmas.
I know. You have any questions?
I do have some questions.
Oh, what kind of questions you got?
Ooh. So
Ooh.
my first question is, how do the three levels of government work together on this issue? You know.
And you see, that's a good question because it helps, people wonder, oh, what would you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm. So let's say, for example, you have this need for a greater achievement, a need for a greater substance, but you can't get that. That's where the three come into play. It's like an Oreo, you know what I'm saying? The bottom is the federal. They gotta provide fundings for the
Gloria.
school, right? 'Cause the bottom,
Yeah.
it's it's needed, but some people take off the bottom of the Oreo and lick the cream, you know what I'm saying? So you could have that. But how they work together is mainly between the local and the state. The local will make sure the school's actually there, because no one wants a fake school unless you don't want to have school, of course. But they make sure the school is there and they provide it with what a school needs to function, which
Mhm.
should be, common sense. But if you don't know, classes, teachers, a curriculum, so teachers can
Yeah.
teach. And that's where the state comes in. To see the state's like the cream in the Oreo. It's the sweet spot, the spot you want to lick.
Yeah.
Um, you you want you want the you want the state to be in good line in good terms when you make a school. It's what really brings it all
Mhm.
together. You have any more questions?
I have two more actually.
Oh, two more.
My my second question is, do these three levels of government ever overlap or conflict with?
At first it was a hard, like, I didn't know how to describe it in a way, but when you
Mhm.
really dig deep into it, when you dig deeper, you find the deeper meaning. So, would you say they overlap? Yes, I would say they overlap, but not in
Okay.
a bad way. I would say they overlap in helping each other out.
Mhm.
The state and
Okay.
local, especially, because the federal, they're in their own
Yeah,
domain. They
they do their own thing.
they they cause more of the problems since they
Mhm.
don't do funding. Like okay, let's start with that. Do they overlap or conflict? That was your question, right?
Yes.
Conflict wise, yes, I would say they do. I feel like the federal government could be doing way more. They're like
Yeah.
the kid in dodgeball who doesn't do anything. He just sits there and gets
Yeah.
hit.
Those girls in the back.
And sometimes those girls in the back, they
Or
do catch
boys.
the ball.
Or boys. Yeah.
Yeah, or boys. Sometimes they do catch the ball, they get someone
We're
out.
not misogynistic over here, by the way, guys.
You're right, we're not. We love everyone and everyone.
Everyone and everyone. Yep.
And so, I feel like the federal could definitely be doing more. They really just get carried in the back. It's like a third party, like trio. Like in Fortnite, you got trios. You got that one
Yeah.
kid who just sits there. That's what the federal government really
Yeah.
is. But yeah, that's the
Yeah.
federal
So.
government. It could, if it had more funding, it would definitely have less conflict.
Mhm.
Like, if they at least provided more, so schools
Yeah.
wouldn't have to rely on the local and state, it would be more balanced. But
Okay.
do they overlap? I would say yes, by helping each other out. They gotta have wash my back, I'll wash yours. You know what I'm saying?
Which level of the government has the biggest impact on your chosen issue in California and why?
Ooh, you see, now that was a question that took me a solid 5 minutes to think of. Like when I first thought about it, because it was between, at first you would think federal, because oh,
Yeah,
it's the biggest.
yeah, it's the
Federal,
biggest. It
that's
does
what
the
everything is,
most.
but it's
Yeah.
really not. It
Mhm.
it does the least. So
Really?
it goes down, yes, because it just doesn't provide enough for what a
Okay.
school would need.
Okay.
But if you had to choose, personally, I think it's the state, I would believe, because local is really good, especially when you have a school where you'd want to get to know, your citizens, people around
Yeah,
you.
of course, of course.
Of course. Oh, we have a little guest over here.
Sorry, sorry, sorry. Special guest.
Special guest. Oh, and who's this?
This is Kitten, guys. It's my
Ooh,
cat.
kid.
She loves me. She
Kitten's
looking very
cute.
mad there. All right.
But yeah, I would say state is the most important because of the Board of Education. Because the Board of Education really like does the changes to the school and everything too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I would say out of all three, the state is the most important.
Okay. Just disappear. And do we have anything to reflect on? Um,
Um, I would say we need a government, you know, which also
absolutely.
goes back to the topic, like we need a government because a lot of people don't think we need a government. Can you believe that?
How much anarchy there would be if we didn't have a government would be insane.
We ain't got no Batman. Like
Yeah, we don't got Batman here. We got.
we got nobody.
It ain't real, bro. We just got straight anarchy.
So yeah, I think a government would be preferred. Obviously, if there's corrupt people in the government, that's the whole point of us. We can take them out, you know. But as long as the government has the same lines as we do, we all agree on what we want, and we can go forward with that. There's nothing wrong with the government. It's really a good thing that everyone
Yeah,
should have if it's
absolutely.
obviously treated well.
Yeah, treated well, like not communist or something. Absolutely.
Exactly, exactly. And what do you think of government? How do you think it impacts our daily lives? Like if you had to
Um, I just gotta put it on the spot here. What do I say?
like what do you think the government does in our daily lives? Like,
How it
police.
affects us?
Yes, like how it affects us. Just something simple.
Honestly, I think the government does bring a lot of conflict towards, you know, people in their daily lives. Stop doing that.
Okay, okay.
You know, I think it brings a lot of hatred. I think it's necessary, but at the same time, I think people's beliefs sometimes get in the way of what is right,
Mm.
and it gets ahead of them. You know,
Okay.
like yeah.
All right, I see that. I see that.
So I think it brings conflict to regular people. Not regular, but people in general.
Mm. Okay, okay. That makes sense. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for tuning in to today's podcast. We are the Little Wiener Bros,
We
and we
are.
will see y'all next time.